Cutter Boley gets some run against Texas and looks really good. The future might be really, really bright for this program. We're going to talk about that, what Cutter Boley brings to the table, and why he's getting ready to beat the Louisville Cardinals on this little bonus episode of the Wildcats Today podcast. I'm your host, Stefaniak, writer and editor over at Kentucky Wildcats on SI. Joined by Carson, Nash. Carson, Austin, it chewed us up. It spit us out. We've got stomach lining issues, some of us here. We've got colds. I mean, we've that city did its number on us, but we had a good time, didn't we?
Yeah, no, that place is wonderful. And I mean, out of all the places I've visited to travel with UK, I think Texas fans are genuinely like the best fans I've met. Those people are fantastic. The hospitality was great. Other than the loss, everything about that trip was unreal. I will definitely be back down there. Yeah. But like Andrew said, surprise, surprise, Mr. Boley makes an appearance late game and looks really, really good. Really good. And I am a little shocked that after seeing that he didn't play a couple games before. But Stoops is finally making the right choice and starting Cutter, so that's good to see.
I would have never expected him to look as dialed as he did. No, I think there was one throw. What did he play? Three or four drives? There was one throw where it was kind of like, what are we doing? And
it was rolling out
miscommunication.
Did you see he was the one where he was rolling out right off of 1 foot over 2 Texas defenders?
It was like between 3 defenders. Who contacted him? Was that
Willie Rodriguez, another gem?
Yes, that kid's gonna be good too. But I mean, Cutter Boley was 10 of 18. I mean, and
160 yards.
Yeah, it looked really, really, really good. And that's what I mean. He just looked good. Like he passed the eye test. When he went out there, I expected that to not go the way it did. And Texas is one of the best pass defenses in college football.
They were recently ranked the number 1 defense in the country. Yeah. So Cutter being thrown in his he had some time against Florida, but Florida's like third strings were in by that point. This was a closer game with Texas, and you're going up against the number 1 defense at Texas, and you look that confident. Mm-hmm. That was my thing. Who cares about the 160 yards? That's great. His confidence for me is what was key. As a freshman coming into that, he's not like Brock, who's basically just bracing for hits. He's out actually keeping his head up, making plays.
Yeah, he's finding guys downfield. Every play, he's looking downfield. Brock is so tentative in the pocket. Cutter is looking downfield, finding seams to the football, and then putting the ball where it needs to be. Almost like what a quarterback is supposed to do, which is crazy.
Isn't it crazy, Andrew, that the offensive coordinator looks a whole lot better whenever the quarterback can make those throws?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Cutter, and you're right. This game was over. I mean, heck, if Rayner makes one of those field goals, there was a couple points where this looked like it was going to get maybe interesting. Obviously, never did. But this was more of a look at the future kind of thing we want to do today. I mean, they lost the game to the number 3 team on the road. Everyone expected that to happen, but covered.
Good teams win. What do great teams do? They cover.
But Cutter Boley just looked like he's going to be a great player for the future. And that's what gets me fired up about this. No one cares about the Texas camp. I'd love for him to win next week. He's been named the starter. He'll play next week against Louisville. I'd go right now if I were you, as I've already done, and put a lot of money on Kentucky money line. We just don't lose to Louisville. It's just we don't. I think Cutter Boley's going to go. I think that the hype, this is what's going to happen, Carson. The hype that's going to be created behind this performance, he's going to go play lights out, I think, and Kentucky's going to win this game, and we're going to be fired up for next year. That's my thought.
Yeah. Well, I actually agree with your thought, and I think, in my opinion, since this is a look to the future episode, I think you can't go without mentioning Wilcox, Cutter, and Boley. I think those 3 guys are going to Willie Rodriguez, and Hardly Gilmore. I think those guys on the offensive end of the ball, you got to keep those guys because that is your future. I mean, you are looking at your future. Along with Cutter at the helm, I think, like Cutter said after the game, I think they could do something that's never been done at UK before. But you got to keep those guys. I think they should all play right now. And the cool part about it is you can play Cutter in this game and not lose his red shirt. So he's still a red shirt freshman next year. And that is absolutely massive for this program.
You know, looking at the future of the program, I have a feeling that you're going to see Key and Barryon move on. There's no rumors there. I just have a feeling. If I'm them, and they're both NFL receivers, they need, seriously, like, we're doing them a disservice right now. They need to go to Bama or Georgia or Ohio State and go get paid. And we need to fix this. And I think that they're tired of taking it. You know what I mean? Like, I could be wrong. They could both stay. I could be wrong. But I kind of have a feeling next year is going to be a revamp of UK football.
Yeah, I kind of have that similar vibe. And I think you're going to start to see that sooner rather than later, because with signing day coming up and teams having to get down to that 85 scholarship limit, you're kind of going to have to, quote unquote, cut some guys or release some guys off the roster that aren't, your most valuable assets. So rather that be some older guys that may not be doing what they need to be doing, or younger guys that maybe haven't broken out like we had hoped. But I think you'll start to see some of that soon. Guys transferring, leaving, go to the NFL, declaring for the NFL. I think it's going to be a huge revamp. I think there's a situation. We don't even know the future of the head coach. So we could be looking at a whole new team, whole new coaching staff. So a lot of up in the air here, but I think retaining the key group of young guys has to be Kentucky's biggest goal in this offseason. Yeah.
It will be interesting to see what happens with Stoops if we get like steamrolled by Louisville.
I agree.
I have a feeling that I really think we're going to beat Louisville. I don't think they're very good. I think we're not very good, but I think it's no one's good off at home in a rivalry, so I just, you're right. I think keeping the young core, you're not going to keep everybody. You're going to see a lot of transfers, I think, this offseason.
Yeah.
The key is keeping the young core around, keeping these. This is a great indicator of the future. If you open up ESPN right now, and it shows leading passer, leading rusher, leading receiver, Cutter Boley, Wilcox, Rodriguez as your, rusher, passer, and receiver. Like the future is bright
against Texas's defense.
So I'm saying the future is bright. Those guys are a huge part of the program. At tight end, Rodriguez. Obviously, you're right about Gilmore out of receiver. Your future's bright. Keeping those guys around, you got to revamp the offensive line, I think.
Oh, yeah. That's in my opinion, that's the biggest key this offseason. I think you keep your young skill guys and just absolutely spend almost all your NIL on offensive line and just build around.
You got your quarterback. A lot of teams, we need $1 million to go get a quarterback. I don't know how much we spent on Vandegrift. I know we spent a ton.
It was definitely 6 figs at least.
I know we spent a ton on Leary.
Yeah.
Because I remember he was like, there are some schools that wanted them, and Kentucky just put in all their chips on Leary. And I believe that was a lot as well. But looking at that, the offensive line, you don't need a quarterback is what's exciting.
Yeah.
You don't need assuming Boley sticks around, you don't need a quarterback, which is generally the most expensive piece in the portal. I don't think you're really going to need receivers or running backs. I think you're solid defensively. Obviously you're going to bring in probably a receiver.
And we haven't really hit on much defense because I'm not super concerned about the defense. Yeah. That's why I'm not really hitting on it. Now, if Brad White does take the FSU job, then maybe I'll be a little more concerned. But as of this point, I'm not too concerned right now.
Exactly. I agree with you on that. So to me now, it's go hammer offensive line in the portal. I don't want a single offensive lineman that's on this roster to be on the roster next year.
I hate to say it, but I agree with you.
The only offensive lineman that needs to be on Kentucky's roster next year is all conference Jake Nash. That's the only player. That's who you need.
I didn't want to say it. You're the one that said it.
Simple as that. Go make the phone call. I can say it. Make the phone call. Okay? Make the phone call. Make it happen.
No, that's awesome.
But, seriously, looking at this, I think there is – yeah, I mean, we're 4-7. We suck this year. We suck. We suck again. But at the end of the day, to me, I think it's the future's bright with young talent. Kentucky just has swung and missed on quarterback these last 2 years. I mean, they have a solid team around the quarterback.
We've kind of swung and missed on other guys from good like Chip Trainum, swing and a miss, right? I mean, you got Macklin. I don't want to call him a swing and a miss because when he gets the ball, he normally catches it. He had one drop against Texas, but he's had some good plays. He just doesn't get the ball.
I expect him to be better, though. I
expected him to be better. And then you've got these O-line transfers that are awful. So, I mean, we've swung and missed on some big guys. Like, and part of that is like, I mean, some of these players are transferring from the Alabamas of the world for a reason. Like, there's a reason they're leaving Alabama.
I'm a believer in the portal. There's different ways to look at the portal. The portal, to me, players that are leaving, and obviously you have the exceptions to this.
Yeah. Oh,
Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow from Ohio State to LSU.
Will
Levis. Jamison Williams from, I believe it was Ohio State to Bama, right? And then
Quinn Ewers.
Quinn Ewers, Ohio State to Texas. You have those. It's not everybody, is what I'm saying. But there's a lot of times those kind of players at big-time schools are leaving for a reason. My favorite portal targets are the all first-team offensive linemen that's coming from, Idaho or coming from New Mexico State. Those type of players that are elite at their level and they're ready to take the jump to the next level. Those are the players I think. Once again, you don't turn down a Joe Burrow, obviously. You know what I mean? Like, if they're there, you go get them. But it's all about talent evaluation, and that's up to the coaching staff.
And another point I'd like to make on that, because I think that's a fantastic thing you just said about like first team from Idaho. Those guys weren't told that they're 5 stars growing up. Those guys had to work every freaking day to become better football players. And so that guy's going to give you 110%, and you're going to get the best out of that guy, and you won't have locker room problems and that sort of issue. So I think there's both sides. You want all the skill, talent in the world, but at the same time, those portal pieces from lower schools that have been really good there, like, you want those guys.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's the route you go, but you got to revamp this offensive line. That's going to be step one. And I mean, literally every single player on this offensive line, bye. Want them all gone. Every one of them. No disrespect, no offense. Hope you go somewhere else and find somewhere it works. Just don't want it to be here. Go get a brand new offensive line. And sometimes it doesn't work out. I mean, like, a Cox from came from, where did he come from?
Northern Illinois, I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was, because we played him in Stupid. Yeah. I mean, like, it doesn't always work out, good players, but a lot of times it does. And I'm a big fan of that, going to get those guys rather than the 4-star that decided, or, the Brock Vandegrift. He's a great example. Well, he was ranked high. Why isn't he playing? And I know he's behind the Stetson Bennett and he's behind. I get all that. But the point is, I think those are the players. There's a reason they aren't playing at these schools. You know what I mean? There's a reason they aren't playing. And sometimes it's you're behind an NFL player. That happens. If that's the case, then the NFL player's leaving and they'll start next year. So it's like there's reasons. That's the guys you want in the portal. But I mean, I think the future's bright. And it's hard to what we're saying, we're 4-7 right now. We suck. Like, we're not trying to, like, we suck right now. But the issue to me is quarterback and offensive line. You've got your quarterback. He looked really good in that game. You go get an offensive line in the portal. You've got the weapons, all right. You've got the skill position weapons now. You're going to have the defense. Beef up the offensive line, and the future can be bright for this team. Now, some might say, well, we've still got to, a coaching issue, and that could be part of it too. And we'll
that's
get
another conversation for another day. But
yeah,
as of right now, I think, heck, even if you get rid of Stoops, I would still try to keep this young foundation together. I mean, I think these guys are legit.
If you gave me this young foundation, you gave me John Summerall, and you beefed up this offensive line, this team could win 9-10 games next year because they have an actual coach.
Yeah.
And a good quarterback. I mean, that's the issue. Say what you want. We haven't had a good quarterback in 2 years. We were good before that. You know what I mean? We were really good for a few years because we had good quarterback play.
If we had good quarterbacks and good offensive line, what happens when that happens? You win 10 games.
Yeah. I mean, even before Levis, I mean, even back to the Steven Johnson era. I mean, Kentucky, Terry Wilson, maybe it's hard to call it elite, but good enough to get the job done. And then, hey, you can have Terry Wilson, like a solid quarterback with an elite offensive line and elite running back. It'll work out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I look at this. I think that's the way you got to look at it. You got to look at the thing.
And also, I mean, shout out Cutter, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Lexington kid, like from LCA. I know we're a little biased. We're Catholic people. We're Lex Cath, so that rivalry still's rolling.
We're Bo Allen all day. I'll take Bo Allen over Cutter Boley any day of the week.
No, but for real, shout out to Cutter, man. That kid is unreal. I hope he kicks some ass this weekend, and things are looking bright for him and for us. I think with him as a quarterback.
Go get Kentucky at plus money right now. I don't think it's going to be that way for long.
I agree.
Yeah, I already got it, so I can tell y'all to go do it. Go get it right now before you can't anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited about the future in a weird way, Carson. Because once again, in a weird way.
Yeah, I know. Because it's like I'm so down about the fact of where we're at right now, but I feel like we can get it right. I feel like I can. After that, it actually was like really good for the fans, I think, because when you put Cutter Boley in, we were so down because we're like so miserable, and then you put him in, you're like, oh, that's a spark. Like that's something we haven't seen yet. And so that's exciting. But keeping this fan base involved too, because this is the biggest year for NIL and that whole situation. So you need the fan base to make this program great. And if you're going to lose the fan base, this is not the year you want to do it. Yeah, no, I'm fully with you on that. I just think it's a weird thing to say the future's bright when you're getting ready to go 5-7 or 4-8. It's a weird thing to say, but I think even right now we're a quarterback away. Okay, let me throw some examples at you. Okay, you went Vandegrift, you whiffed. Let's say you went and got Pavia. What's this team's record if you have Diego Pavia? Give me a guess. Oh, well, I mean, our offensive line is still ass. So
it's a good point. It's you know what? You're right. I think you're right. I believe that Pavia gets you more wins.
Yeah. No, I think you win probably 1, maybe 2 more games. I think you could win 1 or 2 more games with Pavia. I think you win 1 or 2 with Cutter Boley too, though. Like I really do believe
part of it too. I'm just saying, had you done better with your choice of transfer portal quarterback? And I still think, yes, the offensive line is a no doubt issue, but I still think you get a Pavia. I'm trying to think of another guy you could have gone and got. Another portal, guy that's a portal. I mean, like we wouldn't have gotten Cam Ward, obviously.
No.
But like, a Pavia that's why he's a perfect example. Yeah. That type of guy. You go get someone like that. I mean, we swung and missed.
Well, he's a grit guy.
Yeah.
You like to have that guy in your locker room.
Yeah. We swung and missed on the portal quarterback, and that's going to happen. And every time you do that, you're not going to win a lot of football games. But we're not always going to swing and miss. We're not going to swing and miss every time.
I wouldn't say we're hitting the best average, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd say right now where did Terry Wilson come from again?
Wait, what? Terry Wilson came from Garden City Community College. Terry's a hit. I think Terry's a hit.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. So our transfer quarterbacks are Levis, Terry Wilson, Leary,
Joey Gallo, or whatever his name is.
Joey Gallo
from Auburn.
MLB, Joey Gatewood.
No, Gatewood. My bad. See,
Joey Gallo is show hero.
He is.
But Joey Gatewood sucked. Devin Leary. Joey Gatewood's like a tight end for UCF now, and I think he's 27.
Yeah.
Joey Gatewood sucked. Devin Leary sucked. Brock Vandegrift sucked. Devin Leary was a miss, but I don't know if I'd say he sucked. Would you say he sucked? You're allowed to say he sucked.
See, you asked me. I'm not the biggest Devin Leary fan.
What I'm saying is I would count him as a miss, but I think of those three, he's probably the best.
Yeah, out of those three, he's the best, I think. Yeah, you're probably
And then you hit on touchdown Terry and
Will Levis. Yeah.
So you're 2 and 3 right now. Within the last.
Yeah.
Was Steven Johnson a transfer?
Yeah, he did. He did transfer in. I forget where he came from. That was a long time ago.
I don't remember either. It was a long time ago.
He's a hit. So I guess.
Yeah, Jay Lorenzen hit.
Yeah.
Love that guy. So yeah, I will say you're 3 and 3 then.
Yeah, hitting 500. I guess that's pretty good.
Yeah, but I'd rather be 4 and 2 or 5 and 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the hits also only Levis and Wilson were the only hits that got you 10 wins.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, but 10 wins. I mean, that's it still is Kentucky football.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying if you're getting these high talent guys, like Brock was a 5-star, Gatewood was a 5-star. People called him the next Cam Newton. And then, you know what I'm saying?
More like Cam Poopin.
Devin Leary was the number 1 transfer quarterback. You know.
You're right. But I mean, once again, I think the future is brighter than people are. I think the future is brighter than people are kind of than people feel right now. It's kind of what I'm getting at.
I agree.
That's, you know what I mean? I think it's brighter. It's brighter than the way we're looking at it right now. Is what I would say. So I think next year now
there's definitely a reason to be optimistic now, and I'm not sure you had that with Brock Vandegrift. At quarterback.
Now you got to think about next year's schedule.
Yeah, no, next year is going to be a rebuild pretty much no matter what, in my opinion, because you got probably the hardest schedule, maybe even in the whole SEC.
I don't know. I think it's almost a little bit.
Is it easier than this year? Well, this year's ours.
It's the exact same schedule flipped.
Yeah. Oh, so I know that.
Next year. Now I don't know the crap teams we play. Obviously, we win our 3 crap games. You play Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
And then you play at South Carolina, at Georgia, at Auburn, at Vandy. That's very, very scary.
Yeah.
Because I think Auburn's going to be good next year if they get a quarterback. I think that Georgia's Georgia. I think that South Carolina has their quarterback in Sellers. I think they're top
and they're young, man. They have that dude off the end. Oh man, they might.
Yeah, that freshman.
Yeah.
Oh, I forget his name, but that dude's nasty.
And then you got Florida with freaking lag way back. I mean, there's some talent in the SEC, dude.
Yeah, Florida's got. Oh yeah, think about that.
Texas with Arch Manning.
You got Texas coming to Lexington, Tennessee coming to Lexington, Florida coming to Lexington.
Oh, we met Arch Manning, by the way.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, he's a really cool dude. So
yeah, who's coming to Lexington? Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh almighty. Whoo! You got Ole Miss, Tennessee, Texas, and Florida coming to Lexington. I think Florida's a top 25 team, if not a top. Florida's going to be nasty. Lagway is going to be number 1 pick in the NFL draft. You can book that right now.
I've been hot, dude. You go back to our Florida preview. Dude, I'm the biggest Lagway buyer.
Those
stock long.
Those are 4 top 25 games. Then you go to play at South Carolina. I bet that's a top 25 team. You go play Georgia. That'd be the number 1 team. And then you go play Auburn, who I think they're a quarterback away, kind of like Kentucky is. Depends what they do there. Heck, even Vandy's getting some stuff going. I mean, next year is going to be rough.
Or fun.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Got to look at it both ways.
True. All right. We're going to talk about basketball tomorrow. We got a lot to talk about. It's now.
Dude threw a shoe.
That was still in because we didn't watch. I had to rewatch the game.
I know. I rewatched it too because we were getting after it.
We had just landed in Austin, and Mike and I were rooting because we bet Kentucky over 98.5 points. So we were like, Travis Perry, make a damn 3. And he did. He's the one that hit the 3 that hit that for us. But, I
had no service at the lake. I couldn't watch it.
But so I I watched replay of it, and I'm just like watching this. I'm like, did that dude just throw a shoe? It was absurd. It was hilarious.
Did you see Brandon Garrison's reaction?
Yeah, he was just like, what? That was awesome. That was great. But we got WKU tomorrow. We have a few different basketball conversations to have tomorrow. So another pod coming y'all's way tomorrow, talking hoops, and then obviously we'll have another one on Thursday. So that is going to do it for today's show. Hope everyone has a great day. Great rest of your day to talk a little football today, and we'll see y'all tomorrow to talk a little bit of round ball. See y'all tomorrow.